Hello, and welcome to The Current on Pylon TV. I'm your host, Baron Flannery, alongside my co-host, Kayshawn Simmons. Today, we start the countdown to the top 7-on-7 team in the country. Over the last 8 years, as the originators of Club 7-on-7, Pylon has worked hard to create what is now the country's fastest growing recruiting platform. Teams from all over the US and Canada compete for player exposure and team championships. With over 300 known 7-on-7 organizations, we thought it was time to name a top 25. We've developed the criteria for these rankings to make sure it was as authentic as possible. Kayshawn, take us through these criteria.
Absolutely. First, a panel of nationally recognized scouting services and recruiting experts gave their opinion, as well as prominent 7-on-7 head coaches. And there is nobody in a better position to make these calls than the panel we have assembled. Second, club history. Have they won a tournament championship? What is their win-loss record in major tournaments? How many Division I prospects has the club helped produce? For example, Course 6 in Illinois has 40 players in the class of 2014 with FBS and FCS scholarship offers. And lastly, the projected roster for the 2014 season. This is based on the number of underclassmen that participated in 2013.
Now, before we get into the top 25, we're going to recognize 10 teams that just missed the top 25. If they come to the event, compete well, do well, maybe they can get in the top 25. What do you think, Kev?
Absolutely, I agree. I think those guys are just on the cusp of making the top 25, and a couple of wins here and there or a couple of chips, they possibly can get into that top 25.
As a special guest, we've invited a number of head coaches from these 7-on-7 honorable mention teams to join us on The Current today. Our first special guest is Coach T. Ofungale from Team 808. We'll then be followed by Justin Shizante of the Hype Football Series. And lastly, Victor Donondo from the Gridiron Football Academy in Ottawa, Canada.
There's not that much speed back in the island, so the speed is definitely the biggest part of it, and you get to compare yourself, how good you are, with the best of the best. And so that's what, you know, the tournament is so huge for their future, and everybody starts to hear about them if they go to your camps and your 7-on-7 and they do well. When Marcus came up to the tournament, he saw how fast and how much different it is in the States that he had to play up to that level. So, you know, that started his recruiting, and when he came there to the tournament, he did absolutely no offers. So he came as just a normal guy trying to get exposure, and that started everything. From then on, he committed to Oregon, and everything was done for that. So that's Marcus, you know, that was his first actual challenge with the top competition in the country. So we have, you know, one of the top tight ends in the country. He'll be ranked probably the top 3. Alizé Jones, who's a tight end at Bishop Norman. He's one of the kids that comes that he brings. He's spec. He's got everything. He's got the size, his speed, and he's got everything. He's played on the team the last 2 years, so this will be the 3rd year that he's actually playing. So it kind of started. All of his hype started as a freshman when he played on my team as a freshman.
We've been able to build the grassroots over the last 13 years in Metro Detroit, now across the state of Michigan, and a good reputation with the families and the football players due to the dynamics of offering social services, education, and obviously football. But it's been amazing coming together, watching it grow with some of the former pro athletes from the Detroit Lions working with us, such as Henry Moore and Dennis Brown. We had a star-studded squad this year, and we're blessed to have the players that came along, not only because they were great athletes, but they were tremendous young men and leaders. Lawrence Marshall, being our middle linebacker, is probably the highest recruit on our team. He's going to be committed to play football at Michigan next year. On corner, a great young man, 42-inch vertical, Jalen Watts from St. Mary's, who will go playing at Michigan State. And we have Avante Maddox, who I believe is about to get an Oregon offer, but has committed to Pittsburgh. And so those 3 guys are really star-studded on defense. And then our quarterback is actually going for one of the longest winning streaks in the country. In the playoffs right now, he's going for a sports to be probably like Ithaca. He'll be playing at Toledo.
If our kids want to go down there and compete, you know what? they have to be the best out here in Canada. And you know what? For us, we don't come from a big place at all. We live in Orleans, Ontario. It's a small suburb close to Ottawa. So the population is about 70,000 people. So we make sure academically and athletically that if our kids go to the States, they have to be the best. So study logs, we run our program as if they run the States. And we make sure that our kids are the best coming out of Canada. We started in 2010, so it's been 3 years, so we started off in 2010. So one thing that we do is, like I said, the kids live 3 times a week, they run track twice a week, and they do at least 3 sessions of sports specific a week. So they're putting in 15 hours a week. That's the difference. For them, it is a full-time job. We have produced a couple of guys. So far, I think we're looking at 4 BCS athletes in the last 2 years. Eli, defensive lineman Eli Henk at UCLA. We have Trent, who played as a true freshman at Virginia. O'Connor, he's a rated 4-star athlete who's in Penn State right now. And outside that, 2016, we're loaded. We have a corner who have 2 offers already from Syracuse and Akron, and he's being recruited by almost every single Big Ten school out there. He's about 6'2", 180 pounds. His name is Patrice Renee. And 2017 is even more loaded. We have a kid by the name of John from Sutherland. You guys probably know from 7-on-7. We started 7-on-7 when he was 12 years old.
Thank you for joining us on Pineline TV. I'm Kayshawn Simmons. This is Baron Flannery, and we look forward to seeing you next week when we break down the top 25 7-on-7 teams in the country.